Welcome to Brother News. I'm Gabe.
I'm James.
And we are brothers.
And I am just out of the shower.
And we are excited, actually. We're both pretty excited because last night, the Democrats won in 4 key races, pretty big. Five races if you count the
won everywhere. They won everywhere.
Georgia, whatever that was, the little office in Georgia.
Yeah, they won everywhere.
They won the New York City mayor race, shocker. They won the governor races in New Jersey and Virginia.
Not a
top
shocker.
50 in California also passed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the shocker wasn't them winning. The shocker was how big they won.
I don't think it's shocking at all.
And the shocker was in Virginia, how like every single county went towards Dems by like 15-20% margins away from just
2 weeks ago. It was like 3 weeks ago that millions of people came out to protest this administration.
Sure.
The government has been shut down because of this administration for the past 36 days, which is the longest shutdown in history, breaking the record previously set by motherfucking Trump at 35 days.
Yep.
The man does not know how to negotiate. Art of the deal is he just says, go fuck yourself, and gets away with it a lot because he's white. Jesus, man. I'm not surprised at all, though. Like they've been shitting on the field. The thing that kind of bothers me is I saw this video of Trump. He was, I don't know. It was at like it looked like a ballroom actually, but it couldn't be that one because it's not done yet.
Are you talking about the party that the party they did, the Great Gatsby?
No, not the Gatsby party. Okay. It was after the loss. He was like in some big room talking, and he was like,
"Oh yeah, do you know what that was? That was a crypto fundraiser place."
It's a crypto fundraiser?
Yes, it was a crypto thing.
Well, the interesting thing was like he's like, oh yeah, it was disappointing that we lost last night, blah blah blah. Not our best night, but
I wasn't on the ballot.
But I wasn't on the ballot, sure. Like, but the next thing is he's like, and then we're gonna have the press leave, and then we're gonna talk about what we're gonna do about it, which is like, which I read as code for. As soon as the press leaves, I'm gonna tell you how we're gonna cheat to win the midterm.
Probably.
Okay.
Or it's like, hey, you guys are gonna help me win. You guys are gonna help me do whatever. You're gonna help, my people do whatever. And in exchange, you can do all the illegal shit you want to do. It's crypto. And as I said on 60 Minutes, I don't know who I'm pardoning. I'll just pardon whoever my sons say to pardon.
The guy complains so much about the auto pen. Like Biden, like he literally put a picture up in the Hall of Presidents.
Every picture anywhere in the White House right now, where they have presidents, where Biden's picture would be, it's a picture of an auto pen. Yes.
Well, who gets in after Trump should just put like a plane shitting on America wherever Trump is,
or have the AI picture of the last Gavin meme.
Did you see the Gavin one?
I sent it to you. I sent it to you.
Yeah,
I sent it to you. His Newsom on the side of the plane. He's up there and dumped shit right on Trump.
Sure, that was great.
All right, but yeah.
So I guess I know we got like enough of a majority in Virginia now that we can do
super majority.
They had a majority, so we had a 1 seat. It was redistricting stuff there too.
It was 50% plus 1. They had 1 seat over half, and before. And they just fucking destroyed them everywhere. And that's why they started bringing back up the term dummymandering. They're like, dude, if nationwide the shifts were as large as they were in Virginia, all the Republican efforts to gerrymander everything and make a really strong red district be 2 lean red districts, right? They would get wiped out in both. So, like, I think it was Kansas after this election, after they saw the results of it, like right at the date, they said, okay, yeah, we're not going to do it. Because they looked at the swing and they're like, oh shit, we would probably end up losing 2 seats instead of definitely keeping what we have. And so the election results may be the thing that says, okay, we're not going to have this nationwide everybody arms race of redistricting either. Because Virginia's right about to nullify the other states that decided to do it. Missouri, West Virginia. There was a handful of others. I can't remember where the other states were. Missouri was one of them.
Talking about. I don't know if they did it though.
But yeah, they're all doing it. They were all going to go forward and do it. They said they can get 1 extra seat here in Missouri. They can get 1 or 2 extra in all these other places. But Virginia, we talked about that last week, right? What they did in Virginia?
No, really,
Youngkin,
I
because
don't think so.
Youngkin, earlier in the year, Youngkin called a special legislative session, right, for some bullshit. And the Democrats kind of smartly never actually ended the session. They just adjourned it. And on the Virginia, on their state constitution, because they have a constitutional amendment, just like California did, banning the gerrymander, having nonpartisan, districts. And in the law, when that passed, they said 2 consecutive legislative sessions would have to vote to overturn that, right? In order to go around it and be able to gerrymander, right? And so what they
They just
did is
didn't let the
they
session out.
recalled the Democrats with their 1 seat majority in the assembly, in the state assembly, recalled the special legislative session that Glenn Youngkin used for bullshit stuff, all right? And they voted to overturn that. That way, the next legislative session starts in a month or two, right? In a month and a half. And that's the first thing they're going to do is they're going to then that'll be the second consecutive legislative session. Boom. And they're going to overturn it. You know what I mean? And then they're going to be able to, and they're going to gerrymander that place too to make up for all the other Republican states. So California nullified Texas with this move, right? Virginia's going to nullify the other like 3 or 4 Republican states that did it. And then a couple other states said, oh shit, 15-20% margins in every single county in Virginia, like 15% margin swings every single place in Jersey, even the red places. The places that Latinos went, like the places where like Trump had gotten like a
Why?
plus 15.
Why
The
lost the
places
Latino vote? I can't think of any
where,
reasons
yeah,
why he
but
would have
so
they
yeah,
would have
it
be
like
voted for him anymore.
everywhere swung. The places where Trump had won by 15, he lost by like they lost by 5 or 6, like 21-point swings.
People are like upset about the price of like everything, or like that they don't like having the masked men in the
I
streets
think
causing the
they just don't.
violence.
I
Like,
think they just don't understand what Donald Trump has been telling them, which is that everything is cheaper now. We
oh,
won.
they probably just like it probably because like they look at their receipts after they buy stuff and then they're just like, ah, I'm like out of
No,
money.
that's not what it is. Do you know what it is? They got tired of so much winning.
It
They got
is.
tired of so much
They
winning.
got sick of the win. They're like, ah, that's enough.
But by the way,
I'm ready.
did you
Need
see
to mix
this?
it up a little bit.
Trump and Bessent, right? Trump put out a tweet. Trump and Scott Bessent, they put out like a tweet or truth or whatever bullshit, and they said next year top priority is making things more affordable. They're going to get on that next year.
Yeah, this is like one of the greatest hits. It's like infrastructure is 2 weeks away for his entire first presidency. It's like I have concepts of a healthcare plan. It's everything is later. It's like I know we didn't negotiate at all about healthcare or like SNAP benefits, or like we didn't negotiate like on anything between the last continuing resignation and now, when we had months that we could have negotiated and worked some shit out. Like, we didn't
And
negotiate it, but we'll negotiate later. It's always fucking later. It's like, after I fucking murder you, then I will help you.
and if you listen to, right, the Supreme Court oral arguments, they already started having oral arguments before the Supreme Court about Trump's authority to use tariffs that in no way in the whatever that law is, IAP, what is that called? AIAPA, whatever, the emergency, thing for
Yeah,
international
I know.
trade.
I can't remember what
The
it's
emergency.
called, but it's
Anyway,
whatever it is.
what
Yeah, they're
he
like,
is
no, you don't
citing,
have authority to do
what he
this.
is citing as the authority to unilaterally do tariffs, like, wait a second, they ran a commercial I didn't like. Emergency, 50% tariff because that commercial. Anyway, Supreme Court, everybody, every Amy Coney Barrett, John Roberts, Alito. It seems like it might be unanimous. It'll probably be like an 8-1 decision, that says, yeah, no fucking way. You can't unilaterally impose taxes on Americans because, and dude,
Do you feel like it?
yeah, I mean, John Sauer was like twisting himself in knots. John Roberts and Amy Coney Barrett kept going on at him over and over again. He goes, who pays for this? Who pays the tariffs? Who pays for it? And John Sauer, the guy who said that Trump should be able to, assassinate his political rivals and be immune from it. That guy, the Solicitor General, he's arguing on behalf of Trump to be able to do this. He would not answer the question. That's a complicated question. You can't really say that. That's complicated. They're like, it's simple. It's not a complicated question. It's simple. Who pays the tariff? The person importing it. That's an American.
Game plan is always, I don't know.
Yeah.
Who could say?
Yeah, like it's a tax. And like the president, where does it say that the president has the authority to unilaterally tax Americans? You know? So he's going to lose that. And when he loses that, the only things he did this year, he did a whole bunch of tariff shit. He got his little, Gestapo police force, his private police, right? He started demolishing the White House to build his ballroom, right? And he started ordering the Justice Department to go after everybody he doesn't like, right? What other big things has he done, right?
Blew up, he's like flirting with war in Nigeria and Venezuela.
Yeah, Nigeria too. And he can't keep up with what is South Africa and what is South America. That's the other thing too.
Also, he rolled out the red carpet for Putin in Alaska.
Yeah. But either way, he hasn't really done shit, right? He's done tariffs, which they're about to say, yeah, you can't do that.
They did open up several million, like tens of millions of miles of previously protected wilderness, like national parks.
Technically, he didn't do that.
He did.
Big Beautiful Bill did. He signed the bill. Republicans passed the bill.
Yeah.
That's it. But he signed a bill. So he signed a bill that did a whole bunch of awful shit. And what else has he done directly? He signed one bill for that. Did a whole bunch of executive orders that are all being challenged,
He blamed a lot of people without knowing about it.
Yes. Either way, they take away the tariff shit, which is the whole basis of what he says is his trade deals that he's been working. It's not really trade deals. He's like, oh, I'll put tariffs on you. Oh, you don't want tariffs? Okay, buy my crypto coin. Give me a jet. Give me a crown. Give me something else. Give my son's money. Give my family money. Okay, 10% tariff.
Gave Qatar an air base in like Iowa.
Once he loses it, and he's trying to get the Justice Department to give him $230 million. There you go. Other than that, but next year on the agenda next year is affordable. Making stuff affordable is on the agenda. Just let him get his stuff in first. I don't think that's a good message. And plus, next year is the election year. I mean, we are 1 year away from the midterms.
Giving him enough credit. All right, this man has dodged the Epstein files being released for like 6 months. Like he is dancing through the raindrops, man.
Well, either way.
Yeah, even Ben Shapiro came out on CNN and was like dodging the tariffs. Like, no, these are illegal. He doesn't have the authority. It is unconstitutional.
All right, so you want to put that graphic up there because really we're about 6 months away from the net where election season is right back on us in a few months. It's not even that long. It's 1 year is the elections for midterms, which means in a few months, like the next 3-4 months, really, all political activity pretty much stops and people start running for office. So this little chart. Sent this to Gabe because we're talking. It's just about polling. It's just about policies. And as we saw in these elections, right? Virginia, Jersey, and you're talking about it. Mamdani in New York. Everybody, Mamdani from Democratic Socialists to I basically used to be a Republican, but you can just call me a centrist Democrat. In Virginia, they all ran on the same thing with very small deviations between them. They all fucking hate Trump. They all say he has abuse of power, and they all say we need to make shit affordable for people. That's it.
I feel like the affordable for people is the key piece to that right there, because they've been saying Trump is corrupt for the whole time he's been going.
But they just hammered on he's making shit bad for you. We want to make it affordable for you. Yes, but the corruption ties into the affordability. Hey, he said he's going to make shit more affordable for you. You're not getting paid, and he's building himself a ballroom and, giving himself billions of dollars in crypto money. he said he's going to do this, and he's pardoning his friends who put billions in his pocket. He said he's going to do this, and he's getting Ghislaine Maxwell out of a real prison and putting her at camp in a little,
Yeah.
summer
That's
camp.
right. That's right. The Gislaine Mac. I
Yeah.
forgot about
So,
that one.
but they all keep tying it all back to the same thing. Donald Trump bad, affordable, good. He's not doing that for you. He's helping himself. And when people talk about policies, we're talking about, I remember a number of weeks, Gabe's talked about everything else. He's talking about Medicare for all and this and this and this, and talk about all the horrible things. And when I was looking at this policies, maybe you can zoom it. I don't know if you can zoom it or not. I was kind of surprised. Some of them not so much because honestly, there's some of these Democratic policies which aren't really any mainstream person. I don't know any serious person anywhere in politics at any level who's seriously floating completely abolishing the police. I don't
Validity of
even
the
think that's a
list is a
Democratic policy.
little
That was
sus.
something that some protesters said in Oregon a few years ago when they were like, occupying whatever, nobody really suggested abolishing police or abolishing prisons outright. I can't think of any serious politician who ever said that. Can you?
Yeah, I don't
No.
know of anyone. Well, it was funny because like the other day, like, what was the thing that Trump? It was like in his interview that he just did that
Mhm.
was very heavily edited, by the way. Like
Oh yeah. By the
someone
way,
should definitely be suing them for how edited
next
that
president gets
interview
a
was.
big payday. Next
Yeah,
president gets a big payday for that.
yeah, for sure. Like in that he was like, I can't remember which exact policy it was, but he was like, well, the prominent Democrat was just on, a TV show the other day saying blah 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 about this policy. And she's like, oh, who was it? And she was like, oh, you'll find, you'll
Yeah.
research it, you'll figure it out, like you'll see.
Yeah. But on this thing here, there are a number of things that are incredibly popular. Banning stock trading, plus 34, expanding prescription drugs, expanding Medicare prescriptions, pricing, preventing cuts to Social Security and Medicare, plus 30 up there, 29, whatever, you know, increasing Social Security benefits for seniors, raising the minimum wage, cracking down on
Rather than
estate
reading
tax
this list,
evasion, rich people, loopholes in tax against rich people. This stuff is easy. Increasing funding for Head Start, you know, abortion rights, even raising minimum wage to 15 an hour. They had $12 an hour, $15 an hour, These things
$12
here,
an hour is insulting.
super, super popular. That's all they have to do. Run on the fucking popular shit. You know what I mean? Doesn't mean they're not going to do some of the things that are on the minus 10, minus 11. Maybe they do try to push through a Medicare for all. But if you want to do that, you got to have a super majorities in Congress, and you're not going to get a super majority in Congress by running on it. So don't do it. Do what they did this election. Run on the popular shit. Keep your mouth shut about the unpopular shit. And if you do all the things that have plus 30, plus 30, plus 30, plus 30, you can sneak in that maybe that Medicare for all that's only at a minus 11, and you wouldn't lose a whole bunch of voters.
No, it's not something you can just sneak in. I think that's a huge
I know it is. I know it
deal.
is. What I'm saying is you don't run on it. You if they do
Like, bro,
nationally in midterms
rather
next
than
year
just
with
reading this chart, I
yeah,
wanted to like talk through our individual opinions on some of the specific things and like what the like benefits of some of them are. Like what is not obvious about this chart I thought was much more interesting. So um like abolish the police. Okay. This is like a non-starter. Like I understand the reason why, because there's all like the problems with policing. Okay, sure. Like, but that's a total non-starter. Nobody wants that, right? Like, reform policing, sure. Abolish, absolutely not. Nonsense. Okay, abolish prison. We got to put people somewhere. We got to have a timeout. But again, like, prisons really need to be reformed. Like, yeah, we don't want to get rid of the idea of prison, but like, we don't want to have a place where we send people who are maybe headed in the wrong direction in life that did something bad and
scroll
then
down a little bit.
send them to a place that like breaks them even worse and like sets them down a path of only being worse because like you have these massively high recidivism rates for prison. It's like the 2/3 or 3/4 of people like you get out of prison, you're back in jail within a year.
Yeah, but
Like,
scroll down a little bit.
like we're not solving the problem. We're literally making it worse, and we're making it worse. We're spending a shitload of money to make it worse, right? Like there's a better way to do it, right? So
Yeah,
like it
but
gets
here,
more interesting when you go down to stuff like
well, here on that note, scroll down the list a little bit though. Relating to that, decriminalizing possession of small amounts of illegal drugs. That's a minus 17, right? And when they talked about criminal justice reform, that's a minus 6.
well, yeah, it's
You
only a
don't
-6.
run on that. Don't run on it.
Well,
Don't
yeah, no,
run on it.
absolutely don't. Well,
Do
Biden
it.
ran
Don't run on it.
on not having private prisons, which that was like one of the things that I heard about him that like really made me like him. Because I was like, yeah, no, like privatized prisons just like it creates like this incentive structure. Like you always get the behavior that you incentivize, right? So when you have private companies are in the stock market, and so they're incentivized to grow like cancer, like they're meant to infinitely grow. Quarter over quarter, they have to be making more money. Well, if you're in prison, the only way you can make more money is if you either charge more per head or you get more bodies in the door. Like those are the only options because all you're doing is locking people up. Like if the prison, like if the prison gets out and they come back in, that's a repeat customer. That's great for their business. That's their ideal outcome. That's incentivized. Like the prison, like the next time someone comes back in, you should get like way less funding for them. It should be like, oh, you fucked up the first time. You didn't fix this guy and send him out like ready to go. So now you're going to get less money because like you have to juice the incentives, in order to incentivize the behavior that you want.
It's fine. But like I said, and I agree with that stuff, but I'm just saying Democrats don't talk about that shit. Don't talk about it. That's not popular. You're not going to win anybody over by doing that. You might in some smaller places, local or tech places, but if you're running statewide or you're running nationwide, shut the fuck up about it. Don't talk about it.
There was a
Save it
lot
for
of
later.
talk about
It's a new platform.
free public college tuition.
Yeah, surprisingly, not popular.
Like
Don't talk about it.
when Bernie ran that, it was very popular.
Not what polling says.
Like what is deciding to win?
You said last week they should do whatever the fuck it takes. Lie your ass off. Just say whatever they want to hear because you can't do anything good unless you're in power.
That's true.
So just
That's
lie
true.
your ass off.
When it comes to like,
I'm not
when
saying
it comes
lie.
to how you're running, sure.
Yeah. And I'm not saying to lie your way. I don't agree with that solution because you get what Trump got. You lie your ass off, you get in office, you don't do any of the shit you said you're going to do, and it's going to backfire real fucking quick. So just don't talk about it. It's in your platform. We want to make public college tuition free, right? Universal public college tuition. But it's a minus 15% issue.
The first
so
time
shut the fuck up about it. Put it into one big, beautiful bill. And then you can do a whole bunch of really popular things, and that is an item in the bill. But you know what? If you get all the popular shit and you sell the popular stuff, yeah, it's minus 15%. People may not be happy about it. There might be small majority of people who are unhappy with it. Like think of the ACA Obamacare. It was unpopular at first. It was very unpopular when it passed. Couple years later,
unpopular. It was also unpopular because the Republicans
yes,
talked so much shit about it.
Which is why this is unpopular. Free public college tuition. It is unpopular because people are like, why should we spend your tax dollars? Why should your tax dollars go for some rich kid to go to college? All right, they've sold it.
Why
it will be popular.
Why does no one answer that question?
Well, they do. The answer is, yeah, we're not. Make it means tested. If your family makes under $150,000 a year, it's free. If it's more than that, it's not free. Done.
That's the wrong answer. That's the wrong answer. The reason that you send everyone to college is because when the whole population is better educated, it's better for everyone.
Yeah.
Like the reason we send everyone to college is because, for one, it's cheaper than sending them all to jail.
Sure.
Like if everyone can go to college, fewer people end up in jail.
Sure,
but I would sell it that way. On the system, they're contributing to it.
Sure, but I would even sell it that way.
It's like the snowball effect, but for society.
Yeah, that's the good for society. It's better argument. The eating broccoli is good for people argument. But you're not gonna get the nation voting for you based on, hey, everybody, eat your broccoli. It's better for you, just like you're not going to see this. But what you can do is say, you're making college affordable. You're making it so everybody can afford to go to college. You're going to make sure whatever. It's affordability for people,
Like the only
but
thing
either
with, like
way,
the idea of like sending a rich kid to
or make it
college
means
is
test.
like a
Make it
rich
means
kid.
test.
It doesn't need to be means tested. Like a rich kid is going to go. A rich kid's not going to go to a state school. Like what you do is you make it so that it's free if you go to an affordable school. If you want to go to like a very
There are state schools that
fancy
are a fortune.
private school, like if you're going to the expensive school, then we're only going to cover what we would have paid if you went to the cheap school, right? And if you're rich, then you're not going to do that.
Well, I mean, there's not really, unless you're talking about community college, there's not really such a thing as a affordable school for
True. That's not
college.
true. Like so there's massive differences in colleges, right? If you look at like College of DuPage, for example, or Indiana University Northwest, right? To go with like an Indiana and an Illinois. Like I went to Indiana University Northwest. So like the amount you would spend on a per semester basis, like was somewhere around like 6K, right? And then like if you get you get like student loans and some grants or something like that, it's almost nothing out of pocket, or it's like nothing out of pocket. Versus like if you go to somewhere like Loyola, like per year, so per semester, we're saying per semester. So like per semester is probably like 20 to 40K.
Yeah, but University of California, Berkeley. You want to go to Berkeley?
I think
That is a state school. It still costs $55,000 a year. I mean,
ridiculous.
yeah. I mean, University of California, Ann Arbor, University of Michigan, $66,000 a year.
Like you go
It's a
to the
state
page,
school.
dude, you're paying like $500 a class a semester, right?
UNC.
You take like 6 classes, that's $3,000 a semester.
Yeah,
That's
University
$6,000 a year. That's College
UNC.
of DuPage. Like that's a decent college. It's a big school. They got a lot of programs. They have like that's so
University of
much more
Texas,
affordable.
45. Either way, 45,000 to go to UT, University of Texas, right? I mean, either way, it's very expensive. Now, granted, that's out of state. If you're in state, it's not so bad, right? But at least say in-state tuition. Give everybody the state school in-state tuition. Maybe
I
not
feel,
out of state. We won't cover you out of state, but we'll cover you in-state.
I feel like the college education thing is uh like a snake eating its own tail. Like it is less valuable the longer, like the more AI gets good, the less valuable your college degree is going to be. You see that
Hmm.
with like all these white collar people getting fired. Like Amazon fired
Yeah, but you know what those people
30,000
need?
white collar jobs this
Yes,
year.
but you know what those people need? They need to get educated in something else. They're losing their job to AI. They need to get educated and trained to do something else. Kind of like what
Well, you
Bill
know what they
Clinton was
need to
telling people.
do? What
That's
they
why
need to
Bill
do
Clinton was so good. That's why Bill
is
Clinton was so good.
trade.
Huh?
They need to go into the trade. You need people to build houses and do the plumbing for those houses and do the electricity for those
That's
houses.
fine. You know what you need to do that? You need to get educated how? It's plain and simple. It's like when Bill Clinton. This is what I'm
But
saying. Hold
that's
on. Bill
trade school.
Clinton.
It's not college.
This is why Bill Clinton was so good in 92, right? So good. Yes, it's almost always about affordability, education, things like that, but he ties them together. And when you tell people AI is taking your jobs, right? You can have Donald Trump who says, I'm going to save the coal industry, right? Or you can do what Bill Clinton did. He told people, yeah, you're going to lose your job, man. We can't stop this. Things change. But what we will do is we will pay for you to get educated in this. We will pay for this. We'll pay for that. You know what I mean? That works because common sense says, man, we're not going to be doing coal mining forever. There's a reason it's dying. It's like Dunder Mifflin paper, man. You know that paper's dying. You don't have to sit there and say, I'm going to save paper. I'm going to ban computers. I mean, come on, man. You wouldn't win that way, right? Go to education, whatever. Go to affordability. Hey, I'm going to make your jobs better. I'm going to make your education better. We're going to do this, but focus on price, affordability.
What's on this? Not only in terms of like running, right? But in terms of like governing things that you like. What's on this list of negative stuff that is a policy you think would actually be good, or you would even go further in the direction that it's
Reduce
going?
military spending by 10%.
Okay, what
Right?
would be the why, and what do we get? How do you
Number of
do it?
reasons. Number of reasons. One, and another big plug for that guy, Combat Veteran Reacts, right? It's good. He's a great YouTuber. He was in DHS with, I think, Obama and Trump won. He was in the military for a long time, and he's talked about this, right? And he's like, dude, reducing military spending by 10%. He says, if nothing else in the last 3 or 4 years has shown you is that the military is fucking stupid by spending billions and billions and $1 billion on the biggest gee whiz, whoop-de-doo, wow, big, huge, massive military things. Aircraft carriers, right? Ships, big, huge, massive destroyers, fleets, right? How'd that work for Russia in the Black Sea, right? You spend $50 billion for some big, massive, awesome, amazing aircraft carrier, and I'm going to show you a target that you could destroy for a couple $100,000 with having a fucking massive army of cheap drones. Like Ukraine, like you're talking about Peter Thiel and them, right? They just got they had this big drone thing, right? And they got awarded just billions of dollars being thrown at these companies because they have these big,
Talking
huge
about Andrew?
projects. What?
Talking about Andrew, Palmer Lucky's company?
Yeah, they failed miserably. They missed every single target. They didn't do anything. They demonstrated that their AI drones couldn't do anything that they said it would be able to do. It couldn't do anything. It couldn't shoot anything down. It couldn't hit targets they wanted to hit. It failed absolutely miserably, and they got rewarded with a whole bunch of money thrown at them, right? Because it's going to be some big, massive super drone, and it's stupid. And they're already proving 14,000 of these to be made. And they're like, okay, 14,000 drones at the price they're given, you could field hundreds of thousands of these little drones that they have in Ukraine that may not be as good, but if they're just 10% effective, it's more cost effective. You know what I mean? You don't want some big, massive, expenditure when you could save a lot of money and have a massive thing. They're talking about Ukraine. So yeah, you could easily reduce military spending by 10% easily or more and make a much bigger, awesome drone army that could do way more. You know what I mean?
Drones,
new
though, there is
Leonidas
this
high-powered
cool thing.
microwave system. And it's
Which company is this one? Which company is this
Indiana.
one? Which company is this? I don't know about that one. That wasn't the big one with Peter Thiel's company. I was
They
talking about
have-
Peter Thiel's company.
Like, they have this, it's like this thing,
Okay.
right? And it just like shoots, I don't know, some kind of waves, and it just knocks them all out. Like, fries all their electronics.
Okay.
And it hits all of them. Like, they're like, oh, there's 60 of them, and it shoots down 60 at once.
Cool.
Like, you put this on the aircraft, like, I hear you on, like, yes, you spend less money on the military, and then you can spend more money on other stuff. The counter argument to that is that you're getting other people to be afraid of like the capabilities that you have. You're like, it's the peace through strength. I think the place to cut is to like just be in fewer places. Like, don't have, if we have like hundreds of military bases, or maybe even thousands of military bases like everywhere, just like have half as many military bases. Have way fewer military bases.
I say you have just as many or more, but you don't need people there. You don't need as many people there. Look what Ukraine, everybody needs to remember what Ukraine is doing. They are all the front lines, thousands of miles of front lines. They don't have a fucking massive thing of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of troops layers deep along the entire border like in World War I. They don't do that. They have pockets here and there, here, little people underground, 1 or 2 man teams in a basement somewhere with drones, and that's how they're doing it, and they're to devastating effect. You know what I mean? You don't need massive amounts of troops and people and big things of equipment. You need to be smarter and leaner and cheaper. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. That's why, like, if every military should be looking at this and going, wow, okay. A small country can defeat a really, really big country that has 10 times as many resources and all these other advantages and all these more people and all these other, and you know what? What's winning? Cheaper, smaller, quick innovation, not these big, huge military contracts where they pay somebody $50 billion to research something over a 5-year period. That, I mean, Ukraine's shown that, look, the drones in the last year and a half have advanced quick, fast and nimble, not some big, massive, huge contract over they're going to develop stuff over a course of years that's already obsolete by the time they develop it. You know?
thing with the military technology is like here's the thing with the military, right? Like, okay, so to your point, like, yeah, the aircraft carrier is really susceptible to the little drone, right? The big target is really susceptible to the small little bombs. Now that the bomb affects you drive a bomb, underwater through the air, whatever. That's become really strong now. So they're very much like susceptible to that, sure. But it's not like all that money just goes into like, like it's not like the government is just handing a billionaire a pile of money and like he's doing nothing with it. Like when you build an aircraft carrier, you have steel mills and you have machine shops and you have like the mining operations and the refineries and like, you know what I mean? Like it's a shitload of jobs.
Sure, but
It's
if
like
you're
it's
sure,
a
but it's
whole bunch of manufacturing. All that money, you're just putting all that money into the American economy.
yeah, what I'm saying though is this: instead of making the aircraft carrier or the new destroyer, you can have all the same manufacturing capabilities, making
Like a bajillion
a
drones. Like don't make another aircraft control. Don't make another
bajillions of
aircraft
drones,
control.
bajillions of other things, drone robot, drone things. I mean, look at the
Like
look
instead
at
of the
look at
next, like
yes,
instead
and
of the
it's
next
cheaper.
aircraft carrier, make like 20,000 boats that each can deploy 500
Yeah,
drones and
they
just
took out the
send
whole
those
Black
out
Sea
into the
fleet.
ocean.
Ukraine took out the whole Black Sea fleet. They all bailed out of there, man. They bugged the fuck out. They couldn't. They were losing fucking hundred millions of dollar ships because it doesn't make any sense monetarily, just money wise. It doesn't make sense. I could have one $500 million boat that's fucking awesome, or I could have, how much did I say? $500 million? Or I could have 50 million small drones that if 2 of them are successful in hitting it, it's the same cost benefit. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah,
but it's so much cheaper. You work on that scaling. You know what I mean? You can work on the
yeah, okay, okay. I can get behind that. I can
yeah.
get behind that. Let me pick
But there's a lot
one.
of other things on there. Look at other things on there. We beat that one to death. The $3,000 child allowance family to all families. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Raising
Here's
families
what
is
I like.
fucking expensive.
Here's one that I like. Cancel all student loans for all borrowers. I love
Where's
this
that? Where
one.
does say that? Where is that on there? It falls on there.
That's minus 12%.
Cancel all student loans for all borrowers. See,
And
I
like,
don't see why that's only a minus 12 and free college tuition's minus 15. Free public college tuition. See, I would rather have the free public college tuition than canceling all student loans for all borrowers, because that's a lot of fucking. I mean, I don't know, man. Some people go to
like $2
really,
trillion. It's like $2 trillion.
yeah. Well, yeah. I think free public college tuition is smarter than just canceling all student loans for all borrowers. There's people, and I'm not picking on anybody here. There's some people who took out a whole bunch of student loans and went and just did fuck all and partied. And I'm not
Okay,
saying,
okay,
but I mean,
okay, but let me run with this. Okay, here's why I like this idea. Okay, if you cancel all the student loans for all the borrowers, what you're essentially doing is you're taking a massive chunk of wealth and you're transferring it from
from a bank,
people who have
true.
huge piles of centralized capital, and you're redistributing it
To people who have just a
among
lot of
a
debt,
bunch
love
of
to spend
people who don't have any capital.
it. Yeah.
And the knock-on effect of that, right, is that then those people aren't going to be in debt, right? Like they're going to have way less debt. So they're going to then use that tailwind
Houses, buy
to
other
buy a
things.
house,
Yeah,
to
I got
pay off their credit card debt, to not have credit card debt, to buy a new car,
you. Yeah,
to buy a business.
yeah.
Like you're like when you take a giant chunk of money and you give it to like a small number of people, they can do a small number of big things. But if you give the same giant chunk of money to like, in a much smaller per person way to a larger number of people, they can do a lot more things. Like this goes back to my core argument about like wealth distribution, right? Like, even if you were a billionaire, you only eat 3 fucking meals a day.
I just don't see how you do one without the other. I don't see how
Whereas
you do one
50
without the
million
other.
people eat 150 million meals a fucking day. Like that. That's just better for the economy. It's better for the economy
I
to
agree.
sell 150 million meals than fucking 3 really fancy ones.
I don't disagree with either of them. I mean, honestly, I don't see how you do one without the other. I think if you cancel all student loans for all borrowers, right? You have to immediately do the next thing, which is don't make it free for that guy who just graduated, and you're not going to make it free for the next guy. You know what I mean?
Totally. But like, here's the thing: is like,
Especially considering if you're canceling
the
for people who
perfect
already
is the
graduated.
enemy of good. Like, would it be better to do both? Yes, but would it still be good to just do one? Also, yes. $2 trillion injected into the middle and bottom, like, well, like
True.
the bottom 40% of people in the
I
economy.
agree.
That's
I
a
agree.
huge fucking deal. Even if you don't do the next part, even if you
I'm
don't
just-
do the next 2 trillion.
I'm just surprised it's not reversed. I'm surprised that the canceling all student loans isn't more negative and the free public college isn't less negative. Because, I mean, really, you're telling people, hey, all you people who had those student loans and just got a Juris Doctorate from University of Texas, cool. Now that you're a lawyer, we're going to pay off your student loan debt. Oh, but the next guy who wants to be a lawyer, no, you got to take out new loans. Yours aren't covered. Just the guy who already graduated who has a fucking good degree.
So
That's a
it's
harder.
really
I can't
easy.
believe it's not reversed.
It's really easy to know why that is because
Once you get a degree, you get the benefits of having a degree, a higher paying job, blah blah blah. I'm surprised.
this
You
is
know,
why 40% of adults 25 and over have a bachelor's degree or higher.
wow.
So you're at most helping 40% of the people. That's why it's unpopular. Because you're saying 60% should help the other 40%. Because what they're not thinking about, right, is that then it's going to help your kids also, which means it's going to help you. It means it doesn't just mean like, yeah, this other person, is better off. It means now your kids are better off and their kids are better off. Like it's this short-sighted thinking, but that's totally why. It's because most people don't go to college because it's so unaffordable.
Yeah. Well, actually that explains why both of them are underwater. If only 40% have a bachelor's degree or higher, then that's why they're both negative. Because a slight majority says, "I ain't going to college. I ain't giving them money. Give me money instead." But
Well, the other argument against, like the other argument, I don't love this argument, but I understand it against free college, is that if you give people free college, you can't use that as an incentive anymore. Like currently, it's used as an incentive in at least 2 ways that I know about, right? So like in the military, you join the military, you do like contract, like depends on what branch, it's like 4 to 8 years, sometimes 10, depending on what the recruitment is. So like at one point when I was younger, I considered going into the military, and I was like, well, I would only be interested in going into the Air Force. I'm not going to go be a grunt, and I don't want to be on a boat. Planes. Maybe I could do that.
very
But
few
at the
people.
time,
Yeah.
if you wanted to go be a grunt, you got to do 4 years minimum. If you want to go do the Navy, you got to do 6 years. And if you wanted to go join the Air Force, you had to sign up for 8 years. And I was like, I'm not signing up for 8 years. I got a young kid I don't want to be away from for his whole childhood. So I didn't do that. But like, that's a big piece of it is like, okay, you serve in the military, then you get like an education on the government, the GI Bill. That's a big one. And the other one is sort of like the thing that, Trump has been fucking with, which is if you go into a public service job and you work in public service for 20 years while making the minimum
The
payment on
forgiveness.
your student loans, then it's forgiven.
And they cut all that out. Yep.
And they
Squash that.
shit on all those people. Like they got so fucked. But
Oh, you've been a teacher for 7 years? Oh, too bad. You're still going to have all your debt. Yeah, they tried. Yeah.
yeah,
It's
but like
still up in
this,
court. It's still up in
so-
court. I'm sure the Supreme Court will uphold it, though.
like with this though, like right, like we shouldn't be dangling like life being affordable and like you having a future behind come do this shitty job no one wants to do. You know? Like it shouldn't be like, well, you're poor, like our poor people gotta go kill some other poor people to help our rich people get richer than their rich people. Like, and we'll give you a little taste of like not being quite so poor if the PTSD and the burn pits and the fucking bullets don't kill you. Like, it is a shit deal. Like the thing that bothers me the most about the military is has always been that it is such a terrible deal. Like it is like it's not like, oh, the honor of service. Like we pitch it as that, but really it's like the we're going to create a poverty trap so that we can then sell you a solution, which is like, oh yeah, come risk life and limb and sanity for a chance, like an opportunity to have a better life. Like,
I don't know. I disagree. Being a Navy brat growing up, I disagree. I mean,
so what
well,
part?
I mean, pay has gotten way better, right, in the military, right, than it was when I was a kid,
What are
right?
you talking about? What do you get paid in the military?
Shit. When my dad was in the military, we were eligible for food stamps all the way up until it became first class, up until years in. It's not that anymore, right here. I'll say pay rate E1 through E8. Okay. All right, here we go. Uniform service pay grade. Here we go. Let me scroll down. Where's the pay rate? Here we go. All right. So less than 2 years in here. This is basic monthly pay. Now this is monthly pay, right? When you very, very first get in, right? If you serve less than 4 months, right? And you're an E1, which usually I don't even know people who go into the military as an E1. You know what I mean? Usually if you have a functioning brain, you know, right? And you get recruited, you go through, usually you come out like an E2, right? I mean, something. Either way, E1, you're getting $1,865 a month, which, yes, that's poverty, but you also
Like
have
getting
a
food covered?
free house, you have free medical, you're living on base, you know your utilities are covered. Your only expenses would be like if you want a car, but usually at that point, if you're an E1, you're talking a 17, 18-year-old kid who's living on a base for free. He's not going where he's living on base. Everything's walking distance and you're not doing anything that, you know, whatever. They have an E1
You got
too.
cell phone, you're paying for a cell phone and like
That's why you're in basic. That's while you're in basic, living, eating, everything. While you're in basic, you're getting $1,865 a month. After that goes up to $2,000 a month. But again, you have a house E2, $2,261 a month. That's still very, very low, right? But again, you're talking what? Think about what's covered, right? Your house is covered, your utilities are covered, and they give you like allowances on top of this stuff too, right? Like if you go to move, they will give you an allowance. Like they used to say, okay, we'll give you, and this is, I mean, I'm talking 30 years ago, right? We'll give you either $1,500, right? So you can pay for U-Haul, blah, 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 blah stuff, right? Or we will do the moving stuff for you or whatever, right? We'll move you, you know, they'll movers. You know what I'm saying? And so what you do is you get a U-Haul as cheap as fucking possible, and you get this, and all your buddies come and help you pack and do it, and you do on the cheap, and they're like, hey, you got a little vacation out of it too, you know? You drive. I mean, it's not a real vacation. You do the manual work, but whatever. But they give you allowances for other stuff too. And they have the commissaries on board, which is another reason, tangent, why everybody's criticizing Mamdani for his one public grocery store per borough of New York, where the city would own it in like food deserts and they would build a grocery store and do it for a nonprofit. Well, for all the people who say that doesn't work, I would invite them to go to any military base in the fucking country and go to the Navy Exchange and go to the commissary, right? It's a big, massive fucking grocery store, right? They have every single thing you could ever imagine would be at a grocery store, right? And it is fucking half the cost of any private Jewel Osco, Publix, Kroger, fucking Aldi, right?
Because they don't have
Yes,
a fiduciary
exactly.
responsibility
For
to
profit.
to
Yes.
infinitely grow and make
They
more and more
have
profit.
they have a huge meat section. They have everything. They had Gortman's cookies, and they had everything, every
Best
cereal,
grocery store.
everything, right? So they have that. Anyway, tangent. But you get much cheaper groceries because you can buy that shit on base, you know? It, I mean, just when the Cabbage Patch, this really dates me even more than this does. The Cabbage Patch craze of the fucking 80s. When people were waiting in line for fucking hours and screaming, and fights were happening at shopping malls in America, and people were racing and doing it to get a fucking ugly Cabbage Patch with fucking stupid hair, right? We did wait at the commerce at the no, that's Navy Exchange. The Navy Exchange is what they called it. We waited in line for, I was a little kid, man. It seemed like hours. It was probably a couple of hours, 2 or 3 hours, right? And we got a cabbage pet. We got Cabbage Patches. Like, we got one for my sister, and I can't remember what it cost at the time. Right? I think it was like $100 or $80 or $100 at the Navy at whatever, the Navy Exchange, right? But that was like 75% discount price from what everybody else in America was paying for it. So yes, you don't get paid as much, but you
got some
are
benefits.
able to spend way less on the necessities, and the big necessities are covered, right?
That's like, okay, I could see the benefit to all those things, but my
Yes.
point is that
And then when you retire,
dangling that benefit, right, for you have to go risk life and limb doesn't seem like a better idea than giving people that benefit without requiring them to risk life and limb. Like, what if you
there's a
just
number of
made
things, though.
things better for everyone instead of
Yes, but there's a number of things. One,
Okay.
you're serving your country. Well, first of all, this is why President Trump shouldn't have the unilateral power to say, I'm going to send the military to do whatever the fuck I want, right? And it's not even hostilities. I'm just murdering people. It's not hostilities, right? This is why Congress is the one who can declare war. Because yes, you are signing up. You're not signing up to be the Department of War military wing of the empire. You're signing up to, hey, I'm going to make a contract. You're providing all these things here, right? I will never be homeless. I will never be without health care. I will have money. I can support my family. I can get all this. Hold on.
until you're a veteran.
I can do all of this. Well, no. Anyway, I do all of these things. And if we have to defend the country, we have to go to war, I'm willing to do that for my country, because my country's giving all this shit to me, and they're going to give me deals for college and and I'm going to have retirement benefits, and I'll still have insurance coverage the rest of my life, and yada, 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 right? That's like the contract. And the deal is, that's why Congress declares war, because just going to war willy-nilly is not very popular. Now it is in short terms. We've seen that over and over again. Short term, we're going to go to war. Yeah, rah, rah. Everybody's poll numbers go up. People get tired of war real quick. You know what I mean? And there's another thing. Our military, they do spend fuckloads of money, right? And one good thing about our country and our military spending, better than like Russia, is that we know that when people come back dead, it is extremely unpopular. We lost a few thousand people in Iraq and Afghanistan over the course of fucking 20 years. You know what I mean? And it was like, oh my God, thousands of people have died. And in Russia, they don't spend the kind of money we do on research and development for weapons to keep people alive. They just make a bunch of cheap shit that can blow shit up, right? And their people, when they get hit by a tank, it's not that much of that much of a liability, because you don't have to worry about voters. You know what I mean?
Dude, okay, but dude, we spent this is my point, right? Like the Iraq, Afghanistan, that whole series of conflict, right? That 20 years of war, in particular from our lifetime, is a perfect example of my point. Okay, when you have a hammer, you see a lot more nails, right? And when you have the hammer and you see nails, you start hammering them. If you see nails and you don't have a hammer, you know what you don't do? You don't hammer them. Like that war cost us $1 billion a day for 20 years. Do you think that like the people of America or the people of New York would have been better off if we had taken $1 billion a fucking day and injected that into their communities
Of course.
for 20 fucking years
Of course.
rather than like pissing it into the desert.
Make your analogy about the hammer and nails, though. What do you mean by that exactly? I mean, I get
When
that.
you
Yes.
have like when you have a hammer, everything is a nail. Is like the analogy of like when you have a military, you go and you have a lot more fights. If you have fewer people in your military because you're not incentivized, because you don't have to do it because it's the only way out of poverty. If like you don't have to be impoverished, but if you want to be in the military, if you want those other benefits, like you can go get them. But you don't have to like do it to get a college education. You don't have to do it to like have an affordable life. You don't have to do it to survive with just a high school diploma.
But you know,
Like-
though, volunteer military, since the beginning of fucking time. I mean, here, ideally, yes, everybody would have all these things in a perfect socialist world. I'm saying that honestly. I'm not saying that to be snarky. In a perfect socialist utopian world, we all have everything. We all have houses. We all have equal things. We all have stuff. We all have the necessities to live.
You all
Right?
The
You can have
bare, yeah,
something
the
better.
bare minimum.
The necessities. Everybody has the necessities, and everybody has this. Sure, it's
These
never happened,
Opportunities are available.
but it's never happened anywhere in the history of mankind, of humankind. It's never happened, and it's always been poorer people going in the military. It's just always been that way. Would it be great not to have to be that way? Sure. But here's the thing, too. Military, yes, they don't make much. They don't make a lot of money. They have house, everything else. But if you're,
You said that's never happened. I'm going to give you an example.
There's
This is going to
plenty
be
of-
a real.
I'm just saying,
This
there's
is gonna
plenty
be
of
a-
poor jobs. There's plenty. I was not in the military. My dad was in the military. I was not in the military. You know what though? I would have been way better off if I had joined the military out of high school. And I had gone to high school. I would have been way better off. It's not like I made more money doing stupid jobs that you can get out of high school without a college degree. I would have been better off.
If you didn't die in Iraq, or if you didn't work in the burn pits in Iraq, or if you didn't lose a leg in Afghanistan,
Yeah.
or if you weren't like like racked with PTSD from like killing children, like
Yeah. If I would have done,
you could have played the maybe I would be better off lottery.
it was pretty fucking good lottery. I mean, think about how many people we have in our military.
Here's the thing. You know, I was talking about homelessness a minute ago. 5.3% of the homeless adult population are veterans. 1% of the male homeless population are veterans. 1 in 5 homeless men are veterans. It's like when you say like, oh, we take care of them, not well enough. Not well enough.
Wait, you said 5% of the home. Wait, you said 5%.
5.3% of the homeless adult population.
Yeah, that means
are veterans.
95% of homeless people are not veterans. To me, that stat
Because-
says. To me, that stat says you're way less likely to be homeless if you're a veteran. Only 5% of the homeless were veterans.
A lot of
5% of
a
homeless
lot of the
people.
homeless are children and people and orphans.
Yeah,
It's
Sure.
mostly children and orphans. But also, if you are a man, 1 in 5 veterans are homeless. 1 in 5.
1 in 5.
That's
No,
not a
not
good
1 in 5
chance.
veterans are homeless.
20% of the male homeless population
Who's
are
the male
veterans.
homeless population? Yes.
If you are a man and you are homeless, right, and there's 5 of you, 1 of you is a veteran.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, but that to me says, okay, first of all, okay, that still screams to me you're much less likely to be homeless if you're a veteran. But I'll think about it. 5% of the homeless people of the adult population are veteran. 95% of the adult there's always going to be a few percent of people who get really fucked up mentally. I mean, I bet you those 5% are people who had really bad PTSD, maybe bad alcoholism, did some other stuff, maybe got into drugs, they did other stuff, went crazy. Maybe they did some stints, they got put in jail a couple of times, they got violent because of it, they got out and they can't get a real job, they can't keep it down. Yeah, I can see that. You know, that still tells me that 95% of the adult population of the adult population of homeless people are not veterans, which says there's a lot more people who fall through the cracks who are not veterans. I mean, yeah, we got to take good care of our veterans, but I'm just saying, just think about it. Common sense, man. Just think about what, I mean, a lot of people, that's a lot of people, man. How many people are veterans? lot of fucking people. Lots of millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of people are fucking veterans. I mean, people sign up to be in the military. I mean, the fact that only 5% of the adult homeless population are veterans tells me that we got to do a lot more for a lot of people.
So you're not going to like this. 0.5% are currently in active duty military service.
0.5%.
With less than 1% serving in total.
Yeah. What about it?
So if you count people who have served in the past, 7% of Americans are veterans.
7%.
7% of Americans are veterans. 5% of all homeless are veterans.
Yes, 95% of the homeless people are not. 5% are. So if you go 7%.
James, listen. It's 2/3. That's really shitty. You realize, like, if 7% of the homeless were veterans, it would be all of them. 7% of the people are veterans.
Yes.
7% of people are veterans. 5% of homeless are veterans.
So we have 24,500,000 veterans. Okay. How many adult homeless people are there? So out of the 24.5, just want to round up 25 million. 25 million veterans. Okay. We have a lot of homeless people. So a lot of homeless people in America. Right off the bat, 95% of all of those homeless people are not veterans. Of the remaining 5%, those are, veterans. I still don't see how this argument, I mean, yeah, we got to take good care of our veterans, but I still don't see, just based on simple math, if only 5% of adult homeless people were veterans, and we got 25 million veterans, I don't know. You're not selling me on the math here, man. You're not selling me on the math.
7% of Americans are veterans. Okay, 7% are veterans. Okay, now if you have 100 people, okay, and all of the veterans in the 100 people are homeless, then you would have 7 homeless people out of 100. Because 7% of people are veterans, right? So if all of the people who were veterans were also homeless, out of 100 people, you would have seven people who are veterans who are homeless.
But you have
5. You have 5. If it was all veterans, you would have 7%. You have 5.
No, you don't have 5. You don't have 5% of veterans. No, because your math, here's you're forgetting. You're not saying 5% of veterans are homeless. You're saying
5% of homeless are veterans.
Of the homeless are veterans. That's a big difference. It's a huge difference. You're not saying 5% of the veterans are homeless. You're saying 5% of the homeless people were veterans.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, it's a big difference.
You would want.
It's a huge difference. You're doing your math as if 100% of the veterans are homeless. Just under 100% are veterans. No, it's not. It's not. 7% of people are veterans and 5% are homeless. No, it's 7% of the homeless, only 5% are veterans. There's a big difference in the math question here. Big difference. I'm just going to Google how many adults in the U.S. are homeless. And let's do the math on this one.
You can't get, like, you can never
71,500 rounded up. 771,480 people, right? As of January 2024, right?
Yeah, but count adults, because only adults can be veterans. Don't count children. Don't count people too young to be veterans.
18% increase, sheltered and unsheltered. Of the total homeless population, 75% were age 25 or older. 445,000 over 25. Let's just go with the ones over 25. Just the ones over 25 years old. Okay.
It's simple though. Okay. My point is really simple, is that if you're a veteran and you serve your country,
you shouldn't be homeless.
You shouldn't be fucking homeless.
I agree.
It should be 0%.
I agree.
It should be negative 100%. Like it should be. We should be like, oh, for every veteran, you get to bring somebody into your house for fucking free. Like,
yeah, but you know what? here, I agree, and common sense tells you that's never going to happen. There are people who, for whatever reason, they are fine. They go through a bad divorce and they lose their kid, and they fucking snap, and they go and murder people, or they go and fall into drugs and depression, right? And maybe they don't get help, right, or whatever, and they go and commit crime, and they do something else, and where they lose their job, something happens. There's always going to be people. I'm just saying, fact of life. There's always going to be people who fall into other things, and I'm not saying homelessness is their fault, right? Everybody doesn't fall in that umbrella. There's plenty of people. I'm lucky I didn't become homeless a million times over. You know what I mean? I had family, I had other things, and lose my job, my car blew up. I had to leave Florida. Shit happens. I had a family, and I was lucky. And if I didn't have that, I would be homeless. Yes, I'm just saying.
Like, it's mostly orphans.
Yes, there's things that happen, right? And some things happen. I'm just saying, wow, God, I can't believe we spent this much time arguing this. I'm just saying,
there's so many more interesting other policies that we're totally not going to get to.
I know, but I'm just saying, if you're looking at 450,000 homeless people in America, and you had 24,500,000 veterans, you know what I mean? And only 5% of the 445,000. Let me just do that math real fast. Just I want to say this. 145,000 times 0.05, talking 22,000, right? 22,000 divided by 24,500,000, right? Oh God, it's such a small percent that it gives me a fucking 9.081632 error -4 number. It's a very small number. That's all I'm saying. It's a very small number. I think we should do more to address the other 95%.
How many children should go to school and not get any lunch? How many? 0. 0 is the correct fucking answer. We should throw away 10% of the children's worth of food. In fact, we shouldn't throw it away. We should give it away to the fucking homeless. Like, none of the children should be not able to eat. We should overproduce food for the children by 10% and give it the fuck away.
Hold on. The other thing that, while we're talking about all this math problem, we're only talking about 450,000 homeless people. Give them all a fucking house. Dude, that would not cost that much. You shouldn't have any homeless people, period.
Bro, I don't think I've talked about it in the podcast, but I talk about this with my wife a lot.
Oh my God, that's not that many people to house.
Like, yes, well, I think it's more people than that. I think it's closer to like 900K or like 1 million people. Like,
that's the 75%. That's of the total. That's the 75% who are 25 or older.
Okay, but so here's the thing. Like, there's a whole bunch of issues with tracking homeless people, because what do you count? Like, if you're couch surfing, if you're staying with someone but it's not really your house.
I know.
There's a whole bunch. If you're living in your car, you're not homeless. If you sleep in a hotel for a few nights, you're not homeless. Like, there's a shitload of things that, like,
they're defining
really not. You don't have a home. The
number we're giving, right, was as of January 2024, right, which was defined as lacking a fixed, regular, and adequate nighttime residence encompassing individuals in shelters, transitional housing, safe havens, hotels or motels, those living outdoors, people living in their cars, or abandoned buildings.
Is it including all of those?
Yes, including all of that. That's where they got 771,000 total. 445,000 are above 25 years old. But even so, at 775,000 people, 771,000 people, give 1 million people a fucking house. There you go. I don't know, man. It seems to me like that would be worthwhile. That would also be right up there with writing off people's student debt. I think we could afford that. I think we could afford that. I think that wouldn't cost as much as the $4.5 trillion tax cut to the rich that Trump gave.
It wouldn't. Here's what it wouldn't cost as much as. Okay, it would cost as much as we spend on sending the police to deal with crimes committed against the homeless.
Yeah,
like sexual crimes, robbery, assault. Like, all of those things would happen less, and you would spend less money policing them. Like, you would. The amount we spend to have homeless people is fucking insane. Like, first we spend a bunch of money to keep them homeless, then we spend a bunch of money to put them in jail, then we spend a bunch of money to make it so that, like, jail ruins them as people, and then they go back to jail. And my point is, like, instead of being like, let's have a fuckload more soldiers so we can go kill a bunch of poor people in some other country. What if we just had less poor people?
Yeah. By the way, did you know the total homeless population in the U.S. from 2022 to 2024? This is a pretty bad stat for Biden. You know what I mean? Right? It rose 32.5%.
Well, say the statistic again.
2021 data was excluded because because many cities suspended counting during the COVID-19 pandemic. But the homeless population U.S. between 2022 to 2024 rose 32.5%.
Stop building houses.
I mean, I know a number of reasons why, right?
We stopped building houses. The price.
Not only that, we stopped remember during the COVID, during 2021, they acted like COVID, like Republicans. That's what I hate about Republicans, though. They acted like the COVID year didn't count against Trump. That year doesn't count. That was just COVID. And okay, that was one bad year, and then all of our problems magically should have just been erased from the blackboard of history. And now everything's fine. So what did they do after a year? And Biden, they came in there for the 1 year, they did stuff. Then Republicans said, yeah, we don't need to keep giving people money for this. We don't need to keep doing these child tax credits. We don't need to do any of this stuff. No, hey, Democrats, man, you're just trying to give away money. There's no problem, man. COVID was so last year. You know what I mean? Right? They acted like it was like
give away to rich people is so insane when you consider it like the dollars that come out of your paycheck and go to subsidizing massive fucking interest are absolutely insane. Like take SNAP as an example, okay? For every dollar we spend on SNAP, it generates $1.50 of economic activity. And you know who gets the $1.50 ultimately? Fucking American farmers. American farmers get money so that they can give their food away to poor people. The same American farmers who are fucked right now and can't sell their food to China, right? Who's buying their food from Argentina, who we gave $40 fucking billion to. Like, make it make sense. Make fucking any of it make sense.
Yeah. By the way, just because I was looking at my little stats here, you know, this was on my screen. That's a good stat. That's a good stat from Biden. He really did fucking do a lot for the veterans.
You have to finish the share. I don't see it.
I just sent in the chat. I did to you. The U.S. veteran population, right? This is the homeless veteran population, right? Went way down. It used to be 74,000 down to 32,000.
Like half in 15 years.
Yeah. Obama and Biden did a lot, you know?
Overall, okay, but also, so the homeless veteran populations shrunk by half, but the number of veterans shrunk by a quarter.
Yeah, even so, though. I mean, yeah, whatever. Either way, beat that one to death. Thing that sucks is YouTube, it's owned by Google. They gave Trump fucking millions of dollars for nothing. Apple, they give him a bunch of shit and everything. They lick his asshole. There's nowhere you can go.
There's no monopolistic, giant, monolithic corporation that is your pal. Like, none of them are good. They're all, that is your enemy.
I know.
You are the squirrel and they're the bear. Whatever the fuck bears eat. I don't know. You're the gazelle and they're the tiger.
Yeah. Anyway, predictions for what can go right. Well, last night, I mean, this is a cop-out one because it's pretty easy and it's practically fucking written in stone after last night. But this is still lofty. I'm really hoping that the gerrymandering those states did does become dummy-mandering. Because if every fucking corner of Virginia, everywhere, it's not just Northern Virginia where the people are affected by Doge cuts. It was everywhere, you know? Every fucking where went so hard to the left as a, you know, if that holds true, and that was statewide, Virginia. That's why people say, oh, that's Illinois, that's New Jersey or whatever, like Virginia. Virginia's a pretty purple state, man. You know, I mean, yes, it's gone blue mostly, but when people will share those maps of the U.S., you always see this in Republican talking points. Have a map of the U.S. Here's all the Republican counties, and it's mostly red. And here's the blue ones. You know what I mean? Because it's all the big population centers. And when you realize, there's more people in those blue areas than there is everywhere else, right? People forget that. But like Virginia, same thing. You look at the state map of Virginia, There's pockets of the cities there's blue, the rest of the state's red, but all those red places still went 15, 20 points over to the Democrats. That holds true everywhere in America. It doesn't matter what kind of fucking gerrymandering they did in all these other states here. It will be the biggest fucking wipeout. The Democrats would take the Senate. They would have a fucking ginormous advantage in the House, even with the gerrymandering. They would romp if that happens. So I'm looking forward to 1 year. They only got, I mean, granted, I'm still thinking, they're going to be trying all the shenanigans to shut down elections and bring in fucking ICE people to beat the
Take
fuck
people
out of
out, they're gonna
everybody
take people
at
out
the
to
polling
town.
stations. They'll be out there like fucking Russia's, secret police out there just beating people to death at a polling station because do you know what? You cannot sue Border Patrol if they beat the fuck out of you and kill you. You can't.
Within 100 miles.
Yeah, I know.
Within 100 miles of the coast, the border.
But either way, I'm saying yes. We know that they're going to try whatever to do this stuff, but I'm still hopeful that with those kind of population swings, it may not matter. You know what I mean? It may not matter. It may be so overwhelming that it just becomes apparent. You know what I mean? So
like 98% of the people in Crimea voted for Putin or voted to secede and become part of Russia.
What's that?
98% of the people in Crimea voted
at gunpoint. At gunpoint with blank ballots being counted.
Voted at gunpoint on ballots that were not counted for Putin.
Filled out.
I'm just saying, yeah, sure, the will of the people is obviously for the Democrats. I think that's all. I think that's been true for a very long time, and yet Trump is the president, and they have the House, and they have the fucking Senate.
Yes, but
so
luckily,
I'm not counting any of those.
Yes,
those
but
ducks until they're
note though, we also have, and people can say whatever they want about polling. Exit polling is never that far off, right? And I don't know if in 1 year they have. That's why all these races were called fucking immediately. They remember most elections that's kind of close, blah blah blah. They have exit polling. Oh, exit polling's kind of close. Oh, it's pretty close. It looks like it's whatever, right? They didn't call it because they were within a couple points. You know what I mean? It was really close. It was. I mean, those battleground states that Trump won eked out by like half a point or 1 point or 1.5 points, right? Last night, none of that shit happened. Polls closed. Bam, we have the results because it's not even fucking close, people. Everybody was coming out of the polls in droves, 20, 30 point margins. Wow, Prop 50. Yep, we don't have to count the votes. We're counting them. But we were already projected a winner because it won by like 65, 70%. You know what I mean? In all these places here where they hold on. Okay. Sorry. iPhone 13, he saw a deal on an iPhone 13. Anyway.
You're weak right now. I'm distracted.
Yes. Anyway, I'm saying, I'm not if the numbers are so big that the exit polling is so clear and the results are so far off of exit polling, that is when you get the situation that they had in Maidan. That's when you get the situations where they have this shit. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be if the exit polling comes out and says, wow, this is going to be a thumping tonight, folks. And all the newscasters, everybody in Fox and everybody's like, oh yeah, dude, we just did the exit polling. 70% of the people said they're fucking tired of this shit and they voted him out. And then the polls and then the elections, they were voting like, oh, it turns out it's a 49-51.
Kamala up going into the what? How much was Kamala up going?
No, we're not talking about polling before. We're talking about exit polling coming out of the polling booths. Exit polls. The exit polls. I'm not talking about little surveyed polls here and there with little sample size here and there. We're talking about exit polling. Exit polling is incredibly accurate.
So you're hopeful. I would love for that to be true as well. I'm not confident in it, but I would love for it to be true. I hope you are correct. I'm going to do a prediction. My prediction is that the Democrats will cave on the government shutdown. And here's why.
Why would they do that?
Here's why. Because DACA, because Democrats always chicken out. They always do. And in this case, okay, it is strategically advantageous for them to do so. So here's what's going to happen. Trump is going to do something. He's going to be flirting with war. There's going to be some fucking catastrophe, emergency. Maybe it's the aliens show up. Who the fuck knows? There's going to be something. There's going to be war with Venezuela or war with the Philippines. We're gonna fight a fucking snail in the middle of the fucking ocean. Who knows what it'll be? It'll be some fucking giant calamity.
Snarky
Okay?
commercial in Nigeria.
It'll be some fucking calamity over there, and like the Department of War is gonna lose their shit, and it's gonna be time to like come together and turn the fucking government on so the troops can get paid because they're risking their lives. It's gonna be something like that, okay? It's gonna be something. And then they're gonna be like, well, we fought a good fight, but we'll sign the fucking continuing resolution or whatever the fuck it is. We'll sign the bill, and here's why. Because it is more advantageous for the Democrats to do that because one, they can say, oh, we fought for it. And two, the outcome, which we know will be pain, will be owned by the Republicans because they won the fight ultimately. So when it hurts, that is the Republicans getting what they wanted. This is my prediction. I don't know. I could be wrong, but this is my prediction.
Because, well, that's, I don't know, man. Part of the reason from like I said, from Mom Donnie to the centrist people, they all had the same thing: the fight. Prop 50. The only thing they were voting on was Prop 50. There was no people. It wasn't an election, and they had an amendment on the ballot for Prop 50. That was the only thing that they had the election for, was Prop 50. There was not a single person on the ballot. It wasn't like a normal statewide race, and they had that thing on there. 8 million, or was it? It was, almost 8 million people. About 8 million people showed up just to vote for that, overwhelmingly, because they want to fight the districting. The same amount of people who voted to say we need to gerrymander the fuck out of this state to fight back it's the same margin as the people who said we want to ban gerrymandering, right? But they recognize we need to fight everywhere, right? For everything.
You don't think so? You don't think they're gonna? You don't think they're gonna? You think?
If the Democrats cave, that will be, and by these elections, even Virginia, everything else, they said, even Trump said it out loud himself. He's like, oh, the shutdown was bad for Republicans, right? If the Democrats cave, when they just had all these, like 3-4 states, right, all vote, and overwhelmingly, the exit polling is clear, they blame the Republicans. They can't believe the Republicans are doing this to them. They want the Democrats to fight. They don't want the Democrats to cave. They want the Democrats to fight tooth and nail. If the Democrats cave now, what do they have to run on in 6 months from now when they start campaigning like, we're really going to fight for you now. We caved 6 months ago, but now we're ready to fight for you. Nobody will fucking believe them. They won't get the kind of turnout.
Okay, but you think they're going to keep the government shutdown going when they're going to close down all of the major airports for Thanksgiving and Christmas?
Trump is the one doing that. Republicans are the ones doing that by not doing what the American people want. And they just keep hammering that home. Yes. Because they absolutely should. Because the air, it will look.
Going to be, I'm telling you, it's going to be Chuck Schumer and 3 other fucking turncoats are going to announce their retirement, and then they're going to fucking vote for it. Like Durbin is going to be on the list because we already know he's not running again. So Durbin's going to vote for it. Fucking Chuck Schumer is going to vote for it, and some other fucking turncoat pieces of shit are going to vote for it. And they're going to pitch it as like, well, we got some pittance of a fucking win out of it. We got something. We won the moral victory or whatever the fuck it is, and they're going to turn it back on. That's my prediction. I could be wrong. Like, I would love to be wrong. I
I think you will be wrong on this one. That's all. And then it's predictions. Says, who cares, man? We can predict whatever we want to predict, you know?
Yeah.
But I hope and think, and I expect you to be wrong on this one. Because if the Democrats do follow your prediction, they're going to have a fucking revolt, man. They're going to have a fucking revolt that they've never seen before. You won't even have a party anymore, Democrats, as Trump would say. If they cave on this after what just happened the other night, dude, they have it coming.
I want the revolt. I don't want the Democrats who are in power to stay in power.
I know you want
these guys.
They know, man. Chuck Schumer knows he can't. At this point, they can't. Look at the ones who are popular, the future leaders going into next year. Who are all the people? And do you see the polling they did now? Like they did polling during the exit polls. They were also doing other polling on presidential candidates for hypothetical 2028. So like Gavin Newsom versus JD Vance, Gavin Newsom versus so-and-so, Gavin, all these Democrats, they're beating the fuck out of them. Like not even close. Like Gavin Newsom beats JD Vance by like 25 points right now. Gavin, and it doesn't mean anything, but the reason why they're polling that high is because they're the ones showing the fight. And Chuck Schumer knows the Democratic Party, to stay popular, to keep winning, they have to go all offense. They can't cave or they fucking lose.
I hope that is true.
Yeah.
But the problem is this. It's not going to be JD Vance. It's going to be Donald Trump. If he doesn't die to the left side of his face or the right side of his face sagging and falling off, and if he doesn't have dementia, if his leg isn't too big, if his brown spots on his hands don't get him, if he doesn't Big Mac himself to death before that election, he will be the candidate. I promise you.
I don't think he will. I think here's what I think.
That's my other prediction. Donald Trump is running in 2028.
He is not running in 2028. He is not running for 2028.
If he is not dead, he is running.
I'll give you.
Bet me.
I'll give you. Okay.
Bet me.
Here, I will bet you that he is not going to run for re-election. I bet you there will be some sort of emergency that, like Zelensky, you have to call off the election. That's much more likely. That's why he's replacing all the military people.
Fucking wild.
That's much more likely than him running again, because no one's going to let him run. The Supreme Court will say no, and he won't be able to do it. And they'll be like, no, you can't. You're not on the ballot.
Steve, you heard Steve Bannon saying, we have a plan. Matter. It'll be revealed in time.
Yeah. The plan is there ain't going to be elections in 2020 if they had their say on it. That's what I think. That's why he's trying to purge the military and replace all these people who aren't loyal. He's trying to get all the ICE people who are just loyal to him. That's why he's doing all that. He doesn't want to leave, but I think everybody knows he's not going to run for a re-election.
We both think that Trump is going to be pursuing a third term
by some means.
By some means,
his third term might just try to last 20 years or 10 years or until he dies.
Second, it's technically my second term. We've just extended the length of terms.
All right. We both have that prediction. Scary enough. I think a lot of I think everybody has that term, that prediction.
Yeah.
Which is why the Democrats can't cave. Again, they need.
I hope that they learned from my outrage the first time, that they definitely listened to.
And did you see, I'm sorry, another post thing. It wasn't just, it was also Memphis's mayor who was listening to me. They called the, Tennessee. I guess Tennessee's right north of Alabama or Mississippi, one of the states, right? And apparently they have a lot of people from the neighboring state in their Department of Corrections. People, residents of like Mississippi or Alabama. I think it's Mississippi, he said, right? They are sending all of those people in their correctional facilities to Mississippi to get them out of their prisons. Mississippi needs to hold them. They're Mississippi people, right? And they're releasing some other people, and they're freeing up their jail cells, right? And they are getting all of their tow trucks ready, right? And all the cities, all the tow trucks for the city and everything else, they're going to make sure they have an army there. And they said they're going to have all their police there, and they are going to be monitoring. And any ICE officers who break the law will immediately be going to jail. And they're ready to defend their city against.
They're doing that in Illinois also. They're doing it in Chicago. If they break the law, they're going after them.
Yeah. So they did listen. And that's like another example. Democratic cities know you are not going to win by appeasing them and backing down. That's a death knell of the Democrats if they do that. And they know that. So
yeah, who the next Democrat is, their slogan for president needs to be "fuck this shit."
Actually, J.B. Pritzker basically said that the other day. What did he say? He said, what did he say? Fuck all. He says, I don't care. What did he say? He said something. There's a quote, J.B. Pritzker quote. He said,
but I do know Democrats are saying fuck now. Everyone's like, oh, let's use the F word to
what was the? I'm Googling. Oh, he said Donald Trump and his cronies can fuck all the way off. That's what he said. He said Donald Trump and his cronies can fuck all the way off. So, all right. So,
all right, you got a science fair.
Yep, I got a science fair. I got dinner.
God. All right.
Yep. All right. I got calamity at the house, a dog that just came in, a child, got to do stuff with, science fair to go to. Good night.
And good luck.
Good night. Bye.
Like, comment.
If you don't like Donald Trump, like. If you hate Donald Trump, subscribe. All right. Good night.